What's up guys, Cirrus here. So with BlizzCon and the Smash Direct over, there's a few things I'd like to talk about, but I can't address them all in this one video. I'll be detailing my opinions on the last Smash Direct in another video. As for BlizzCon, we now know that World of Warcraft Classic is going to be coming in 2019, and that's something that I couldn't be more happy about. But that's not the announcement they made that turned the most heads. No, that honor goes to the announcement of Diablo Immortal. Diablo Immortal is a mobile game that story takes place in the 20 years between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. This means that we will be able to see some more character interactions and development for characters like Deckard Cain and Leah, even if we ultimately know where they're going to end up. While I'm personally excited to see what they do with the story, the fan reaction to the game has been less than positive. First things first, I'll detail what the main complaints of the fans have been, and address them accordingly. The first and biggest complaint has been about microtransactions, namely that there really hasn't been a successful mobile game to date that hasn't relied heavily on a microtransaction market. Given the type of game that Diablo is, I don't think that we can hope for a purely cosmetic microtransaction market. Based on the type of game that Diablo is, most likely we'll be seeing microtransactions in the forms of boosts to either levels or loot drop rates. Or, even more egregiously, since they have announced that there will be boss-specific loot, there is a chance that we might have paid rerolls for said loot. The worst thing they could do would be adding in a gating system in the form of energy that a lot of mobile games have used. Since Diablo generally is a game that you sit down and play for hours, one of the most egregious things Blizzard could do would be gating this off behind an energy paywall. Say each area you go through costs 2 energy and you generate about 20 daily. Expending that energy would give you the option to either play a different game or spend money on more energy. This is a system that's been implemented on many RPG games in the mobile market already, and while it is one of the worst type of systems that we might find, it is no less a system that is prevalent. My personal take is I'm hopeful that they'll find a good microtransaction method that doesn't hurt the players, but I'm personally skeptical because I don't think that Diablo is the type of game that allows for a healthy microtransaction market. One of the second things that have caused fans to be upset about Diablo Immortal is the fact that the trailer itself could honestly have been a trailer for Diablo 4, especially with fans who were watching the trailer online instead of sitting down at BlizzCon proper. I can see why they might feel like the rug was pulled out from under their feet when they thought they were going to get a new, big-budget, PC-exclusive Diablo experience. It might have gone over smoother if Blizzard had just announced a Diablo 3 port for mobile platforms. Then, players who had access to the mobile platform only would be able to play the Diablo franchise for the first time there. Instead, fans were delivered a trailer that seemed like the next big thing for Diablo was a new game on mobile. While the argument can normally be cast that if they don't want to play it, then they simply don't have to, the other side of that coin is that on Blizzard's side, it has to allocate development resources and budget to this game. And if the fans don't want to play this game, then that budget is being allocated somewhere that most of its fans don't want. That said, I do think that Diablo Immortal is going to be a financially successful game, because it's Blizzard and they know how to turn a profit. That, and the mobile market is the most lucrative gaming market in existence right now, so there's definitely money to be made whether or not fans of the Diablo franchise wanted this particular iteration of their favorite series. This next one is the one that I honestly find most egregious. When it comes to things like microtransactions and whether or not Diablo 4 proper is in development, there's at least a discussion that can be had. Instead, this next issue is about Blizzard's reaction to the fans' reaction when they booed on stage. While Blizzard's response seems to be, "What? Don't you guys have mobile?" As if the issue in place was the fact that people might not have the hardware necessary to play their next big thing. It's not that people don't have the platform, it's that people don't want to play their game on that platform. It would be akin to saying that Dead Rising 1 came out on the Xbox 360, and that was a great game, but Dead Rising 2 was announced for the Nintendo Wii back in the 7th generation. While more people statistically had a Wii than an Xbox 360, and therefore it would be logical to conclude that a lot of the 360 owners also owned a Wii, taking a sequel to a game like Dead Rising and then making its sequel on a console that has inferior hardware would definitely cause a negative reaction, not unlike the one we're seeing with Diablo Diablo Immortal. In both scenarios, it's not that the people who are going to buy your game don't happen to have the hardware necessary to play it, it's that most of the fans of the Diablo franchise want to play the game on PC or on console. They want to play the game looking at a screen, sitting back with a controller, or a mouse and keyboard. Tapping their thumbs on a screen to play a game that is on a platform that has a market overly saturated with RPG experiences not unlike Diablo is the actual problem at hand. It has nothing to do with whether or not they have mobile devices. The second entirely disingenuous action Blizzard has made has been messing with their thumbs up and thumbs down counters on their trailer for the new game. When the Diablo Immortal cinematic trailer happened to hit over 360,000 thumbs down, suddenly, after about 300,000 more views, 100,000 dislikes randomly vanished from the video. In fact, when the Diablo cinematic trailer was at 1.2 million views, it had 266,000 dislikes, but somehow, when it hit 1.5 million views, it had 218,000. I'm not saying that Blizzard has intentionally tampered with this, but what I am saying is that something dishonest is going on. If your fans don't like what you're doing with your intellectual property, the correct response is not silencing the voices of your fans. The correct response is listening to them and determining whether or not their concerns have merit. But honestly, those are the biggest concerns I have with Diablo Immortal. I'm more than likely going to give it a try when it comes out, but honestly, based on the type of game Diablo is, I don't think we're going to have a healthy microtransaction environment. Based on Blizzard's response to its fans, I can only assume that we're not going to be getting the criticism into the right people's hands that need to hear criticism in order to develop their game further in the right direction. I can at least say that Blizzard has noted that they have multiple Diablo teams at work, so a Diablo 4 being built is something that most certainly is happening at the company. While I know that this game is not Blizzard's replacement for Diablo 4, I do know that a certain amount of money and resources have gone into this game that could have gone into a game that the players actually wanted. That said, this is Blizzard we're talking about, so we're either going to see this game come out as a financial success, or it'll go the way of StarCraft Ghost and become vaporware. But those were my opinions. What are yours? Let me know in the comment section below, and let me know how you feel about Diablo Immortal. What do you think the game's going to be like, and do you think the game is going to be worth playing? If you haven't hit the subscribe button already, please do so, and stay tuned next time when I go over my thoughts on the last Smash Direct.